What's up, movie fans? I'm back to review the new Jake Gyllenhaal movie that's on Netflix called The Guilty. There's really not a lot to say about it, so this is going to be very short because it's set in one location and they filmed it during COVID. It doesn't leave this location. It's a one-set location film, so keep that in mind. And it runs at 90 minutes. The story is Jake Gyllenhaal gets a phone call and this girl is being kidnapped and she's trying to figure out a way to get her daughter away from the guy she's kidnapped with. And Jake Gyllenhaal is trying to talk to the first responders and figure out a way to find them. The movie takes place during a fire. There's not a lot of units on the roads. There's not a lot of help that he can get. They're just low on staff. So he's trying to find a way to find out where this car is, the license plate. And so it's a lot of just back and forth arguing on the phone, just like, oh, go get someone over there. And Jake Gyllenhaal starts getting very upset, and then his boss gets upset with him, and they starts barking demands, and they're like, you're crossing the line, you can't do that. And then you find out he has asthma, and his boss calls him and tells him to calm down, and if he doesn't calm down, he's going to lose his rights to go back out on the field because he's injured. That's why he's at the desk taking phone calls. The voice acting is great with the phone calls. Jake Gyllenhaal's performance is great. As a one-set location, I give it credit, but these movies are hard to do because it's in one spot and they get boring and bland very quickly. They sour out fast. But this movie didn't even have like rapid pacing. It's just like a lot of just nonsense on the phone and him getting mad. And I feel like that was the only way to keep the fire going. Like, oh, he got pissed! Oh, I threw a chair against a window. Oh, shit. I feel like it's really all they could do with it. I will say this right now. If Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't in this and it was another actor, I think the movie would have soured out quite quickly. However, no spoilers, the ending is quite shocking, and Jake Gyllenhaal gives a very awesome performance in the final act. What happens in the end will actually throw you off, and I appreciate that about it because I wasn't expecting it. Besides that, there's really not much going on in it. No score, and if there was, I didn't even notice music. The performances are great, but the movie has no flow to hold you for 90 minutes, if that makes sense. This is a Saturday afternoon movie. It's very mediocre. I think this movie would work if it was like 70 minutes, like a fan film or like an indie film. High budget, looked nice, but just not much there. The story is just basically him trying to help this girl on the phone. And then she's like, I don't know where I am. He's like, okay, take your seatbelt off. And she's like, what? And for a while, you're kind of like, this is not sounding right. Like, the way she's going about what she's saying on the phone is not really lining up. So you start to question everything. And that's kind of what keeps you engaged on what's happening on the screen. You have to like the one-set locations, or you have to be a diehard fan of Jake Gyllenhaal. But there's not a lot to eat off the bone here, folks, so I am not going to recommend this one. It's quite boring, and only the ending really is interesting, but it's not interesting enough to sit through the whole thing. It's not a big payoff. It's not like, whoa, holy fuck, this was awesome, pick this up right now and buy it on Blu-ray. Not that kind of film. I'm going to grade The Guilty a C. This movie is available right now on Netflix if you are interested, but until then, my friends, I will catch you movie fans on my next review.